Israel's top envoy after the interception of the Gaza aid flotilla, a move that has drawn sharp international reactions. Greece's foreign minister has confirmed that 39 boats from the flotilla are now reaching the port of Ashdod, with all passengers reported safe. However, world leaders have voiced strong condemnation and concerns, with posts on social media from the leaders of Malaysia, Pakistan, Bolivia, Ireland, Spain, and Cuba adding to the growing chorus of criticism. This comes after the United Nations had said earlier that it was closely monitoring the situation as the global Smooth flotilla approached Gaza's waters, a mission of more than 40 civilian boats carrying around 500 activists and aid for the war-ravaged enclave. Let's take a look.
We're obviously following the flotilla very closely. We do not want anyone to get hurt, and we want people's rights to be respected.
What is the Secretary General's view at in this moment stage? They are about 100 miles away from Gaza. Should the flotilla continue its course or halt? Does he believe such an initiative contributes to peace and the delivery of aid, or could it risk further escalation?
Look, there is a level of advocacy that is needed and welcome regarding the humanitarian situation in Gaza. As for the flotilla, it is not for the Secretary General to tell them what to do. We just want to make sure that everyone is safe.
Yesterday evening, Israeli forces intercepted 13 aid vessels, boarding several and taking control as part of their blockade enforcement, while around 23 boats continued their attempt to reach Gaza. Following the interception, Israel's foreign ministry announced that passengers, including Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, were being transported to Israel, where deportation procedures to Europe would soon begin. Officials also stressed that all those detained are safe and in good health. Demonstrations have erupted across Europe and Latin America, with protesters demanding the release of the activists, while diplomatic tensions deepened as Colombia expelled Israeli diplomats, Turkey denounced the raid as terrorism, and Brazil voiced concern for its citizens on board. Now, for this discussion, we're joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical commentator, joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us again. Very good to see you. Now, how do we see this news that's coming in? Do you think that this Smooth flotilla will be able to reach Gaza, at least some of them, safely? And what does it mean that United Nations said that they are watching? But it seems like they're only watching and they're not doing anything to either take them safely to Israel's port nor Gaza's port.
Suma, good to join you this morning. Let's just remind ourselves there is a war going on the 7th of October 2023. Hamas and others then crossed over to Israel, 1,200 Israeli citizens killed and 250 hostages taken. This is a war zone. Now, the other thing that people may not be aware of is that Israel is also concerned because of drone technology, etc. There has been smuggling that has been going in. Hence, we've seen reports over the last nearly 2 years of this war that Israel has shot drones going into their country, flying over to Gaza, etc., where they're smuggling arms, etc. So I asked people to look into that. So in the context of that, when you've got a flotilla coming in, and then you find paperwork from a designated support group of the PCPA, that the Israeli authorities have then been publishing this in Israeli news, that this paperwork has then been found in Gaza. This is a group that was created in 2018 and recognized as a terrorist group and an arm of Hamas by the Israeli authority in 2021. And then the accusation is that they are behind this flotilla as well. So you then have a flotilla going into Gaza. From there, they are turning around and going, "Is there food on here? What else could be on those boats that are nefarious?" So it's no wonder that they are turning around and going, "No, we are not going to. We do not want this, and we are going to inspect the boats or stop them and then escort people off." So this is what is playing out. And again, if you, in my humble opinion, if you look at who is actually coming in, making various comments to the UN, protesting about this, of course, they are then, to them, they would then ideologically be supporters of what they would then call the Palestinian cause. And that is what is then unfolding as well. It's more politicization on all of this, which is then contributing to all of the media chatter that goes back to the UNGA meeting that has just stopped, and all these people standing up and going, "We want a two-state solution. We recognize this, recognize that." So it's this complete and utter political pile-on in regard to Israel, and this flotilla is yet another act of that, Asuma.
And now looking also at the international responses, Mark, how do the international responses to Israel's interception of this global smooth flotilla, like from the Colombian leader, that was very sharp, and some other countries reflect the broader geopolitical dynamics of Israel and Palestine conflict?
Well, then you have to go down this rabbit hole of looking who the PCPA are, who other groups are like that, what other involvement do they then have around the world, how they actually raise money, how they then interfere and align themselves with an ideology that is close to them. And it's then no wonder that the Israeli authorities, remember at the moment there is this 20-point peace plan of ending the war in Gaza that is still now up in the air, waiting for Hamas to make a decision on that, even though they've spoken to the BBC, even though right now it looks as though, no, they will turn this deal down. That is still up in the air, and Israel, understandably, is then continuing its maneuvers within Gaza City and pushing ahead to then completely rid Gaza of Hamas. So all of this is all up in the air. Then you've got the flotilla. Then you've got all the other comments internationally, as I will use that phrase, as a pile in as well, to then pressurize the Israeli authorities. So all of this, as soon as I say again, all of this is now out there in the playing field, and we in this field, and we just wait. We're waiting for Hamas to make their decision, and then internationally, of course, people will make whatever comment they want. But at the end of the day, the Israeli government will then do what is best, and Israelis will do what's best for Israel, no matter what comments are going to be made by many other nations that we've seen at the UNGA as an example. Asuma.
Right. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as